Our theme of the month is exuberant appreciation. And so this is, if this isn't worthy of exuberant appreciation, I don't know what it is. So I'm going to give more love to David, to Brian, thank you. How good it is to be here. Let me just fix this a little bit. The topic for today is cultivating elegance. So we're going to dive into that a little bit and know that each one of us is an elegant being of light. There is so much elegance within us, and this is what we are here to cultivate. That elegance is God's way of expressing itself uniquely as each and every one of us. And can you imagine for a moment if Angel and Jesse and Brian and David just said, you know, I just don't feel like it right now. I don't want to like bless you with my amazing voice and my amazing gifts and my amazing talents. I'm just going to go sleep in or something like that. I had a rough night. Can you imagine if we didn't get to just feel and see and hear that? That is, pardon my French, freaking amazing! And so we have that within us. There's an elegance within us that wants to express itself, and we need to cultivate it. There's an evolutionary impulse that is seeking to rise up from within us and to express through us. And kind of just a real Cliff Notes version, a real lasered version of how that works. Through the law of emergence, there's something unique that wants to express through each and every one of us. It basically, it comes down as a divine impulse, and it cycles through our beingness, and then it seeks to express itself. It seeks to express itself through us as our gifts and our talents and our purpose. I might have to go over to the microphone, I think. So it's seeking to express, and so sometimes you come across a little hurdle, like a microphone that gets in your way, and it seems like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't talk to you guys today because this microphone didn't work. Like, no, you just persevere in that which is seeking to emerge through you. And so that divine evolutionary impulse comes through, and if we cooperate with the evolutionary impulse, it will lift us, and it will expand us, and it will allow that divine imprint of what we are seeking to express to have its way and bless other people in the world, the benefit of the win-win, which God is always win-win. So for those of you who are new here today, I just want to welcome you to our community and to give you the Cliff Notes version of who and what we are. We are a spiritual community that believes in the golden thread found in all the religions, in all the traditions. If you were to follow that thread through Islam, through Christianity, through Judaism, through Hinduism, through Buddhism, you would find that that golden thread takes us all to a space and a place of realizing what we teach in our community, that we are all born in the image and likeness of God. And to embrace that we are born in the image and likeness of God is one of the things, pretty much, that's the only reason we're here. We're here to do that and to express our gifts. As I've been doing this for over 16 years now, one of the things that I've come to see along my path is one of the, sometimes I've worked with a lot of spiritual practitioners and healers, and a lot of times we kind of get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, like I've done that. I already know about that. Like, I already know about the chakras. I already know about, those tenets of Buddhism. And you want to be very careful, because sometimes one of the worst things we can do is give up being a student to the divine, a student to your own soul. We start to rest on our own laurels. The ego can rest on its own laurels, but the soul cannot rest on its own laurels. The soul will continue to seek to express itself through you no matter what. So to be in compliance, to allow the elegance of our own beingness to rise up, means that we're going to continually need to grow, continually need to expand, continually allow ever-expanding good to happen through us. And so the way that cycle kind of flows down is you have life force that's seeking to emerge through you, coming into you. It's going to lift you. into expansion. You're going to expand into a gift and a talent that is like the next level of what's seeking to express through you. And then it's going to integrate itself. It's going to integrate itself into your new norm. It's going to expand you into holding more love, into holding more prosperity, into holding more wellness, into holding more goodness in every way, shape, and form. But a lot of us, we let the ego kind of take over. We kind of rest on our laurels. And we forget. We forget that something wants to expand us. And so we need to, that's the whole point of a spiritual practice, is to wake up. Just like in the song, we want to wake up. We want to know that there are multiple dimensions and realms of bliss and grace and beauty that want to have their way with us. And I can tell you that each and every one of us, no matter where we are, after that integration, you're going to kind of get used to the expansion, you're going to get used to that good, and then you're going to get ready to go up again. And then again. And that cycle will keep repeating itself over and over and over. And sometimes it's soft and gentle, and sometimes it's rocky and lumpy and bumpy. It gets lumpy and bumpy when we resist. When we resist the expansion. As it says in A Course in Miracles, you may think that you are responsible only for what you do and not for what you think. But it is truly that you are responsible for what you think, because it is only at that place that you can exercise choice. And choice turns into being what we do. And so we want to be very conscious of what we think and become mindful. That's the whole point of mindfulness. If you're going to put on your Thich Nhat Hanh hat and practice mindfulness, you're going to start to be in self-awareness and self-observation and start to notice that certain habits, certain patterns that we rationalize with our excuses. You want to beware of the excuses. Excuses, let me see what Wayne Dyer says about excuses. When you abandon making choices, you enter the vast world of making excuses. And excuses are a sure way to thwart yourself. Oh, I couldn't do that because of this and that and whatever, oh, the economy, oh, this so-and-so did this to me and da-da-da, or oh, there's no way for a woman to make it up in this or whatever, or oh, Hollywood is really hard, if it's, you don't know somebody, you're not going to get in. No! This is, if you remember from, I think it was last month or so, this is where a no, get ye behind me comes in, where it's like, no, I'm not participating in this because I dictate through my word and my choice what is going to happen in my life. And so when we comply with that at the level of our soul, where we start saying yes to the things that we are cultivating, and then we tap in, we do it through prayer, we do it through meditation. We want to choose a right. How do you choose a right? Because some people, we start to default to making choices through our ego, which is like, I absolutely, I'm going to do this by hell or high water, by hook or by crook, this is going to happen. When elegance comes into the picture, that is when you bring yourself into alignment through prayer to the vibratory field of infinite potential and above all, win-win. God operates in win-win. Win-win for everything and everyone. We want to be open to the win-win. The ego sometimes thinks it's win-lose. Or sometimes it even thinks it's lose-lose. Have you ever been in one of those situations where oh God, it feels like no matter what I do, it's just a lose-lose situation. That is not the case. That is just limited thinking. And so we want to open up too, and that's where we want to slow down. You heard me in one of my topics a couple months ago, you want to hurry up and slow down, because that's about the only thing we want to hurry to is slowing down. We all know that the faster you go, the more you rush. If you are rushing, if you feel like you don't have enough time, you bought into a paradigm of limitedness. There is no limits in God. And that includes time. We can expand time. We can expand opportunities, we can expand love, but it comes from our choice. We have to start to choose it. We have to allow our excuses to be gone, as Wayne Dyer's book, Excuses Be Gone, I think that would be the recommended reading that I'm going to offer out to everyone, is that we check in. And some of our excuses, I call them like, there's certain issues that we have in life that limit us. I call them the dust bunnies, because they're not big enough to really be too cumbersome or too limiting in our lives. We don't want to. In spiritual evolution, we are all going to grow and be completely realized, 100% realized. You are an avatar, you are an ascended master. It is already coded and loaded within you. You will rise to that in the time-space continuum. In the time-space continuum, you will rise. It will seem like, okay, I'm growing, I'm expanding. But that growth and expansion isn't off in the future. It's just right here to be revealed. We've all heard the analogy of peeling back the layers of the onion. We're peeling back our own resistance. We're healing our own resistance. And so we want to become self-aware. That's why in our community we work, years ago, in many of the spiritual traditions, if not all of them, if you go back into the native teachings, you have shamanistic teachings. You work with a shaman. If you go back into the Hindu Buddhist traditions, you work with gurus. Today, in our community, we work with practitioners of truth. There's always somebody there that's there for the sole purpose of helping us see into our blind spots. Because oftentimes, what's in our blind spots, that's exactly what is thwarting us from moving forward. So today, we've morphed gurus, shamans, sages, priests and rabbis of the mystical teachings into life coaches, into healers, into psychotherapists. And so we want to be very mindful that A, we want to choose how we want that to be in our life. We want to choose and call forward. I'm pretty sure everybody here, whether you know it or not, you are on a spiritual evolutionary path to wholeness. And so one of those things is like, you're going to be an enlightened master. Let's just say enlightened master is here. And let's say I'm like right here. And you're going to step up here. And you're going to make your way up to enlightened master. It's going to happen no matter what. Whether it's going to happen in this lifetime or maybe the next lifetime as in the time-space continuum. But you're going to grow through something, through a forgiveness process where you're going to allow redemption and healing to forgive a relationship in your life. You're going to grow. It's going to stretch you. There's going to be a feeling. Now, some of us are going to experience it as discomfort. Or some of us are going to say, you know what, I'm not ready yet. And that's where we say, okay, that's all right. If you're not ready, then we'll get ready. Because it's going to happen no matter what. And by choosing to say, I'm willing to allow myself to get ready, is going to allow bliss and grace and beauty. So we do that through prayer, by evocation. We evoke the presence of God to ready us. And that's why some of the most famous prayers, use me as an instrument of thy peace. We call forward, we evoke, and we allow the presence to flow through us to inspire us, to motivate us, to enthusiate us. We want to be enthusiated by the holy light of God, that we are empowered through benevolent ways. And so we want to choose a right. We want to choose a right, and we choose a right in self-reflection by saying, okay, I'm not going to settle. Whatever it is that I'm looking for, give me the strength. Give me the optimism. Give me the faith. Embody it through me. That's the whole point of spiritual evolution, is to embody the energies of the divine through you. So you're going to evolve up to that next level, and then you get a moment. You get a moment to kind of like, okay. It's kind of like you learn how to ride a bike. First you got the training wheels on. You don't really know how to do it yet. You're finding your equilibrium. You're finding that place of balance. And then all of a sudden, you take off the training wheels, and you get to enjoy that for a while. And then you're going to move up to the next level. You're going to move up to the next level in your life, and then you'll need some training wheels for whatever that is. And then you'll take those off, and you'll move up to the next level. That's what we're all seeking to do. We're all seeking to embody the holy light within us. And so we do that through our prayer practice, through our meditation, and as we just finished and are having our celebration today of satiating prayer, this is one of those things where you want to make sure that everything that we're doing is affirmative. that we are evoking affirmatively, because sometimes we're evoking in the negative, and we're working against ourselves. And so again, like I was saying, we want to work with someone, and the way also along that evolutionary path, you're going to work with yourself through your own affirmation, through your own prayer, through your own meditation practice. You'll work with somebody else, and they're going to help you with your blind spots. And the more blind spots that get healed, the more empowered you become, the less you need to lean into other people, albeit we're all connected, we're all interconnected. And it is a reflective universe. So I want to give you just some of the warning signs. Beware of the point. It's like, oh, did you see so-and-so? It's such a shame what's going on with so-and-so, or they don't have this, or they don't have that, or whatever you notice. Whatever you notice going on in somebody else's life is a reflection to you. There's no other way around it. Now, to the degree and to what it means, now there's some wiggle room in there. So sometimes you're looking at somebody and you're seeing something being hugely reflected back to you, some sort of lack or limitation that's going on in their life. Not everything is linear. So you want to be very careful that you put on your secret decoder glasses while you're looking into the world of reflection, and make sure that you're interpreting aright, that you're in divine discernment, so that you understand what you're seeing. You want to understand, and that's again where we evoke the presence of God, so that we can understand what we're seeing. We are not to journey this journey alone. And one other point that I want to make before we get ready to close: you are not to journey this journey and carry burdens. Part of the journey is to relinquish your burdens. If you have any worries, doubts, or fears, this is where we come to the altar of the Almighty and we relinquish them. We say, take this from me, because if I'm not saying take this from me, I'm saying, oh, I'm going to hold on to my pain and suffering, is what I'm saying. That's the choice I'm making, because we default to the choice that we chose prior to the new opportunity to make choice. We're always brought to a choice point. And so we want to choose aright by noticing the several things. The things are that we want to be self-reflective and see what is reflecting back to me. Please do not fall prey. Do not fall prey to thinking that it's happening only in so-and-so's life. Let's see. Where are we on time? Oh, okay, we're good. With that, I wanted to kind of share what happened from when you start to live affirmatively. Years ago, I did a pilot program with some prayer practitioners. And what we did was we developed a program that was helping people that were helping people. Because what we noticed is that when you are of service to other people, most people in the human services field that are helping people take really bad care of themselves. And did you know, according to Barbara Maslow, who is the foremost authority on burnout and compassion fatigue, 60% of people who help other people burn out and drop out from what they love doing because they don't take care of themselves and they don't listen to the evolutionary impulse within them that allows for wellness to expand. If you want to serve other people, which, by the way, there's nobody here that doesn't want to serve other people. It might be news to some of us that we want to serve other people, but we all want to serve other people. We all do. And so in this, we noticed that we wanted to do something to help empower those people. Now, looking in the reflective mirror with my secret decoder glasses, I'm also knowing that as we're noticing this, we're applying it. We want to apply it to us. We want to take better care of ourselves. So they always say, that which you want to embody, you want to preach and teach. And so you want to take action on it, which is another way of preaching and teaching, is you embody it and you bring it into the world. So we have developed a program to work with 16 participants to bring forward life force energy through a prayerful and doing some energy work and bringing them into spiritual practice. And they had to sign up for this program. The only condition was that to be part of the program, you were going to have to come every week for 45 minutes, once a week for 12 weeks, take an intake survey to measure where you are physically, emotionally, and mentally, take a midpoint survey and an exit survey, so that we could see, does this spiritual stuff actually work? And yes it does. I can cut to the chase there. But to the level and to the degree that it worked was phenomenal, because everybody was brought to choice points that otherwise would have rested in their blind spots. And we were able to clear the blockages from their energy fields through a combination, well, I'll call it prayer in movement, prayer alive, because we know that God is alive. We know that prayer is alive. It's a living, breathing feeling of truth and love and grace and beauty having its way to and through and as it. That's what a revelation is. A revelation moves us. And so we wanted to bring revelatory energy to these people so that they could step into fulfilling their destiny unencumbered by limited ideas, limited thoughts, and bad habits. Because bad habits are a compilation of excuses that we've allowed to coagulate into a pattern that repeats itself over and over, and we know that's the definition of insanity. So we don't want to do that. So we did this program, and we noticed that consistent exposure to divine energy on a regular basis, which meant every week, and we would give them homework assignments, meditation, balancing your chakras, etc., prayer. So people would do that, and we noticed the exponential effect of consistently, week by week by week, being exposed to a higher vibration of frequency. Because what happens in your cellular memory is, your cellular memory is coded. If you have trauma in your cellular memory, it's like, ooh, this is what I'm used to. If I'm used to being treated poorly, it's like at some point that becomes your norm. And we want to beware of something becoming our norm. And so that becomes coded as your norm within your cellular memory. And now you're bringing in a high vibration that says, oh, no. That's in error. That is out of alignment with wellness and vitality. And so a higher vibration of energy starts to come in, and it's going to recreate and reprogram your norm to allow you to have more happiness, more joy, more wellness, more goodness, no matter what. We're talking about divine energy, so this is in the realm of miracles. This is where mountains are moved through this prayer field. So we were noticing physical healings, emotional healings, relationship healings. By week 6 of consistent exposure to this energy, we're like, wow, this is pretty incredible. From week 7 to week 12, everything went off the charts. There was expansion taking place. People were recalibrated to hold more life force. And then the phenomena, which is true, as you rise, all unto you rise. We did 16 people out of 50 people in this place. The energy of the entire organization rose, and there was more harmony, more productivity, more kindness, more love, more patience across the board, even for the people who weren't participating. That's what this is. Right here at Soul Center, we are cultivating an increase by you just showing up. One of the best things, all I gotta do is sit in the energy, and it is recalibrating me. That is the best thing about spiritual evolution. You can just come and sit. That is why people gravitate towards the sages, the gurus, the shamans, the Reverend Michaels of the world. It's like, let me just kind of cozy up to you, because I'm gonna absorb some of that energy. And they will always say yes. Because giving from an overflow. We want to give from overflow. And so because you're ascended masters, sages and gurus, masters, and rising into your evolutionary impulse, the other thing about this program that we noticed was, we were doing it through a nonprofit that we had created to help caregivers. We were caregivers for the caregivers, is what the program was. One of our board members found out about what we were doing, and he said, I'm going to pay you to do this program. And I said, okay, sounds good to me. So he took the intake survey, and every week he'd come in, and he was one of these dynamic gentlemen. He was like, oh, and I want this, and he's like, and he wanted a position at a particular company. He was he wanted a position as CEO at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, and got it. He was having some issues with his knees. There was resistance to stepping forward into life. And we cleared that resistance, and no more issues in his knees, because what was his motivation? His motivation, he wanted to run the marathon without having problems with his knees. And he'd come in, he's like, and he would just pound his fist down. He was so animated and filled with an energy This is what he wanted on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, oh yeah, this is my intention. Have you ever met somebody who's like, oh, well, yeah, I want to be prosperous. You know? Yeah, I'm going to be healthy. That's probably around a 1 or a 2 on the Richter scale of your intention. And if we're there, which is like, okay, I might be a little bit lower on the Richter scale of setting my intention. So what I want to do is, we become self-aware. Where am I in setting my intention? Am I at a 1 or am I at 10 or am I at a 5? Where am I? And without making myself bad or wrong, because we never make ourselves bad or wrong, we never measure ourselves against someone else, we just become aware and we set an intention. Oh yeah, I'd like my intention to get to a 10 on the Richter scale. Okay, that sounds good enough. Let it build. We evoke it, and then you're bringing the eternal through evocation, through prayer, into time and space. And once you get into time and space, it takes time. Now, the eternal can trump time and space linearly, where it can take a minute or an hour, it can take a second, but it's gonna take some time. And it can be short or it can be fast. To the degree that you are ready to receive your prayer, boom, it happens. So we want to be ready. We want to be ready. We don't want to have our excuses. And we want to claim that we are standing at a 10 in our intentions of that which we would like to achieve, to experience, to express in our lives. And we are not going to allow any of the excuses of any of the race-conscious ideas that are out there to inhibit what we want. And that is why we go into the still place of the Most High. That is why I go into my place of meditation, so I can cleanse the person. Oh, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's really tough. It's really rough. It's like, no. We go into the place of the Most High and we sit in meditation to cleanse our energy field so that we aren't hampered by that negative thinking. So it is from this place that we're going to step into, and I'm just going to have you rise, and we're going to just do a couple more affirmations with exuberance and zeal, and we're going to shoot for a 10 on the Richter scale. All right? All right. I always choose from the divine win-win.
I always choose from the divine win-win.
I exuberantly live my soul's purpose.
I exuberantly live my soul's purpose.
I always seek good in everything and everyone.
I always seek good in everything and everyone.
And I am in compliance with the elegance of my life.
I am in compliance with the elegance of my life.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So I let it be.
And so let it be.
Amen.
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 Ashe. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes. It feels good. It feels good when you step into it. It really does. And so I think we're getting ready to step into our conscious giving right now, right? And as we do,